Have you ever stopped to consider, like, the single most powerful ally you have on your health journey?
Mm,
It's probably not what you think. Not a new supplement or some fancy gadget or, even your doctor.
right. It's something much closer.
Exactly. It's
Yeah.
something you carry with you, like every single moment.
And that's what we're diving into today, isn't it? This really fascinating distinction.
Yeah.
The difference between just, well, treating something
Uh-huh.
and truly healing. And what we've kind of uncovered points to a surprising truth about where that power really lies.
Which is,
Within you, right inside.
okay, we've definitely explored some really compelling ideas around this, and I'm excited to unpack them. Get ready for maybe a fresh perspective on what getting well actually means.
Yeah, because what's fascinating here is this potentially a counterintuitive idea. I mean, modern medicine, it offers incredible tools, no doubt.
Absolutely essential tools.
But the deepest form of recovery, real healing,
Yeah.
it often seems to start from a source you might not have fully considered before.
Okay, so let's really get into that fundamental difference then. We hear so much about medical treatments. What exactly sets that apart from genuine healing?
Well, think of treatment in many ways as a kind of targeted intervention. Does that make sense?
Yeah, like fixing a specific thing.
Exactly. It's about influencing your body's chemistry to address a specific issue. Medication to lower blood pressure. That changes your physiology right there.
Okay.
Oral therapies for autoimmune conditions, they aim to sort of modulate the immune response. The focus is often on managing the symptoms
Right.
and getting the body back to maybe a previous state, often using external means.
So treatment is like directly adjusting a specific problem, like you said, tuning an instrument maybe.
Yeah.
Getting it back to the right note.
Precisely. A really good analogy. Now, healing takes a broader, much more profound approach, I think.
Broader how?
It's not just about correcting a biochemical imbalance. True healing involves a restoration on multiple levels, mind, body, and even, well, what some might call spirit.
Oh.
It's a much more complete recalibration.
So you're saying while a treatment might successfully lower your blood pressure numbers,
Yep.
genuine healing would actually explore why it got elevated in the first place
Yeah.
and address those kind of root causes fully.
Exactly. Exactly that. And here's where it gets really interesting based on what we've looked at.
Yeah.
While modern medicine absolutely excels at acute care, emergencies, managing many illnesses, it doesn't always address those underlying factors needed for that deep, holistic healing we're talking about.
Which I guess brings us to this really powerful and maybe often overlooked element in the whole equation.
Which is?
You, the individual.
Absolutely. That's a core insight here.
Mm.
The individual is the single most crucial element in their own journey toward wellness.
Now, that's not to diminish the role of doctors or therapists.
Oh, not at all. Their role is vital. But it is about recognizing the incredible, innate capacity you possess.
Regardless of the problem.
Regardless of what you're facing, could be a physical injury, effects of toxins, maybe a nutritional imbalance, that inner capacity is key.
Okay, but why? Why are we so central to our own healing process? What's the mechanism there?
Well, one key aspect that seems to emerge again and again is the powerful influence of our attachments.
Attachments. To what?
It appears that holding on to, say, unhealthy thought patterns or ingrained habits that just don't serve us, and even attachments to things, maybe ideas or situations that don't align with our deeper well-being. These can actually block the body's natural ability to release what's harmful.
Wait, so you mean emotional stuff too? Or physical toxins?
Both, potentially. It seems these attachments can hinder release on multiple levels.
That's a really fascinating connection. So basically, dwelling on negative thoughts or holding on to old hurts could actually have a real, tangible biochemical effect on our ability to recover.
That's the strong suggestion, yes. Think about it this way. Consider someone managing diabetes. They might rely solely on insulin injections, right? Treatment. But what if they continue eating a diet really high in sugar?
The insulin helps, but it's fighting an uphill battle.
Exactly. While the insulin helps regulate blood sugar, true well-being, true healing in that case, requires the individual to actively change their dietary habits. It just highlights the essential active role you have to play.
Yeah, that makes perfect sense. You can't just expect an external fix, like a pill or an injection, to work miracles long term if you're still, doing the very things that cause the problem.
Right. It's about participation.
Okay. Now, this idea of an inner capacity for healing,
Yeah.
we came across some intriguing concepts around an inherent spark and the placebo effect. Let's dig into that a bit.
Yeah, that's truly compelling. This idea of an inherent spark within each of us, like a fundamental intrinsic capacity, it's believed by some to be a real catalyst for healing.
And the placebo effect fits in how?
Well, the placebo effect, where people experience real improvements just because they believe they're getting an effective treatment.
Even if it's a sugar pill.
Exactly. That stands out as just powerful evidence of the mind's ability to actually initiate this healing process. For instance, studies show the placebo effect can have a pretty significant impact on conditions like depression.
We've all heard of the placebo effect, sure, but some of the instances we looked into are really quite remarkable, weren't they?
They really are.
Cases where individuals were misdiagnosed with serious illnesses,
Uh-huh.
and they actually started to manifest symptoms, seemingly driven purely by the power of that belief, that diagnosis.
It's incredible. And then on the flip side, you see these documented instances of spontaneous remission, from really serious conditions.
Where people just got better against the odds.
Yeah, individuals who truly believed they would recover, and somehow they actually did. These examples just underscore this profound interplay between our mental, our emotional states, and our physical health.
The positive emotions like joy, laughter, contentment.
They seem to correlate strongly with healing processes, whereas negative states like chronic anxiety, long-term stress, or pain and depression.
They can hinder it.
Unfortunately, yes, it looks that way. They can get in the way.
So it's definitely more than just wishful thinking then. It's tapping into something real, something innate, which kind of leads to this bigger idea maybe of a universal source. How does that concept fit in?
Right. If you take a step back, consider a broader perspective. One viewpoint suggests that, well, everything originates from a single fundamental source, a divine source, perhaps.
Right.
And if that's the case, it implies that the inherent power of that source, including the capacity for healing, for creation, also resides within each individual. We're part of it.
The sources we looked at use some really relatable analogies here, didn't they?
Yeah.
Like writing a book or building a home. How do those help illustrate this connection?
Yeah, the idea is basically this. When you pour your thoughts, your energy, your intention into something you create,
Like writing.
like writing a book, exactly, or building a house with your own hands, a part of your essence, your spirit maybe, becomes intertwined with that creation. It extends beyond just your physical body.
So the book reflects your ideas, the home embodies your effort.
Precisely.
Huh.
And the parallel drawn is, if we can imbue our own creations with our essence, then isn't it conceivable that the original source of all creation is also present within us? Its power, its healing potential.
Wow. That's actually a really powerful way to think about it. So, okay, if this inherent capacity for healing is within us, what's the key then? How do we unlock it or access it?
Well, the most crucial step, according to this perspective we explored, is aligning yourself with this inner self, this inherent potential, this divine spark, whatever you want to call it.
Alignment. How?
Yeah.
Is it meditation? Prayer?
It's not necessarily tied to one specific religious doctrine or practice, though those might help some people. It's more about achieving a state of inner harmony, of congruence, being true to yourself in a deep way. And the really significant point is that this principle, this idea of alignment, it's presented as broadly applicable. Doesn't matter the specific health challenge you might be facing: fibroids, low testosterone, high blood pressure, autoimmune stuff, skin issues, diabetes.
So whether it's physical ailments like those or even challenges with mental well-being, the fundamental principle is the same, finding that alignment within ourselves.
Precisely. That seems to be the core message. But, and this is important, this inner power, it has a dual aspect.
Meaning?
The capacity to heal ourselves also implies, well, the capacity to contribute to illness.
Through bad choices.
Through choices that don't support our well-being, yeah. Through a lack of self-care, through holding on to negativity, we have the power to build health, but also the power to, unfortunately, undermine it.
It's like we're constantly making deposits and withdrawals from our health account, isn't it? Through our daily actions, our thoughts, our habits.
That's a great way to put it. Exactly. And understanding this, really understanding it, leads to this profound sense of empowerment.
How so?
Because you realize you are not just a passive recipient of health outcomes. You're not just subject to whatever happens. You are an active participant in shaping your own well-being.
Taking the reins back, in a way.
Yes. Embracing this power to heal can be genuinely transformative, not only for yourself, but, you could become an inspiration to others on their own journeys, too.
It's striking, too, when you think about it, how even in conventional medicine, doctors rely so heavily on our input, right?
Absolutely.
Our description of symptoms, our medical history. They need us to guide their diagnoses and treatments.
Mhm.
It really highlights our central role, even in that system.
It does. And, there's a perspective out there that suggests a system focused only on external fixes, on treatments,
Um,
might perhaps inadvertently create a kind of dependence, maybe overshadowing our own innate capacity for self-healing sometimes.
Interesting point.
The personal stories we hear, individuals who've overcome really significant health challenges through their own commitment, changing their lifestyle, their mindset, they serve as powerful reminders of this inherent ability we all have.
So the core message is really about empowering yourself.
Yes, empowering yourself to tap into your inner resources, your inner healer, rather than maybe solely relying on external solutions all the time. Find that balance.
Okay, so the profound takeaway from this whole deep dive seems pretty clear. You, listening right now, you possess an incredible, often underestimated power to heal.
Absolutely. Which brings us to a really important question for you to maybe mull over.
Yeah.
Now that you have this understanding, this awareness, what might be the first step, even a tiny one, that you could take to start nurturing and cultivating your own inner healer?
That's a great question to sit with. And hey, stay with us for more insights, more inspiration on your journey to well-being. If you found this exploration valuable, there's definitely much more to discover.
Yeah, keep exploring.
Maybe subscribe so you don't miss out. And you could even watch the next video right here on the screen if you like.
Keep learning, keep growing.
Absolutely. Thank you for diving deep with us today.